Hello, welcome back. As you can see, I've got quite a lot done on the BR52. Perhaps more than I intended. What I intended to do was to make a video when I'd finished painting and detailing the inside of the cab. But I got a bit carried away with myself and put it all together. So here it is. I'll show you as much as I possibly can of the inside of the cab, and I put some photographs up which you'll be able to see, and you'll be able to see the detail on those. Fairly simple stuff really. Where we're up to, where we've gone to, let's move this spinny round thing. Where am I up to? We started at section 6, and that was detailing the back of the boiler and the firebox. Really quite a lot of stuff to go on there, lots and lots of little bits. Most of them fit together really quite easily. What you might find, however, is that there's a lot of flash on them, and there are a lot of moulding seams on literally everything. And if you're going to paint it to show some detail, then you're going to have to remove the flash, and you're going to have to remove the seam lines, and as I say, there are a lot of them. Apart from that, it goes together fairly easily. There are no real problems with putting it together. So all of this goes into there. As I say, there's plenty of photographs for you to look at, and then put the walls of the cab around, and it says then to put the glass in. I didn't put the glass in, I've not put the clear bits. I have done now, but hadn't done at this stage. Didn't do that before I painted it. I put the PE, the brass bits on, made them up. I had a failed attempt at soldering the brass bits together, and I'll talk about that at some point in the future. Excuse me. Then the firebox itself was really quite easy, although huge amount of filler and sanding down. You can just see some of it here. Again, as I say, I meant to do a video of this on its own. All of this had to be sanded down and fitted, as did the bit where it fits onto the back of the cab, or the front of the cab. As you can see, there's quite a big gap pretty much all the way around the front of that join there, and the bits simply didn't fit together. They stuck out and had to be sanded down to match, otherwise they just look like two bits of plastic stuck together, which obviously you don't want. The cab roof goes on really quite easily, but it's not immediately obvious how the back goes on. The back goes on and leaves a little lip about 3 or 4 mil down the back here, and it has a lip all the way round at the top there. Clumpy fingers, I can't use a marker, a pointer. So there's that would be a gutter, so the rain hits it onto the gutter and runs off, so you don't get soaked and the windows don't get covered in water and muck. The inside of the cab, you can see it there as I light it up. I've done all the detail work, and as I say, there are many photographs of it. And if you ask me, I think that looks pretty good. It's not bad. I've painted the copper work, all the copper pipes. I've painted the brass bezels on all the gauges, and on the valves they would have been brass, so I've painted those a brass colour. I've used Vallejo copper paint and Vallejo brass coloured paint, and they're really quite good. A lot of rust around the mouth of the firebox where you'd throw the coal in, and a little pile of coal on the floor there. I've used powders to emulate the dust on the floor that would be picked up by the feet of the firemen. When you paint it, you're going to have to be careful. There's a gap at the top there that goes right through. That would be a vent at the back of the cab to vent some of the air out there. It would be very warm in there. I put the windows in, as you can see, and they've come out really quite well, I think. You can see through them. Hang on, tip that to a correct angle. Yeah, you can see through them easily enough. Windows are my nemesis, and I've never been able to get them right, but I'm getting better at them now. So they're in all the way round there. I don't know. It's hard to show you sticking out. Yeah, you can see them anyway. I know they're there. I know you can see through them. Yep. And that's about it for the cab. There's an awful lot of filler gone into everything on this. There's still some filling needed. You can see a seam along here that still needs filling. I've done this bit. There's a seam all the way around where the boiler joins the firebox, and basically all over the place really. But, and you know, as I said in the past, it's all part of the job, isn't it? So apart from the filling and the fettling, I think that's quite good. I've gone as far as I can, stuck as many bits as I possibly can onto the kit, and I've only stuck on the bits that will stay on with a little bit of handling, so that it makes it easier to paint it and getting the nooks and crannies than it does when everything's on there, when the whole kit's made. I think so anyway. So what I'm going to do with this now is I'm going to spray it with a dark grey primer. I'll mix that up. I'm not buying it. I'll just mix it up with a bit of white and a bit of black. Then spray it all with a dark grey primer, and then I'm going to spray it all as a gloss black, which is what it is according to the instructions, and that should come out really quite nice. The gloss black that I bought, seems to be a semi-gloss. It doesn't seem to be as shiny as it could be, so, and I'm quite happy with that. I don't want it to shine too much. I might then respray this area here with a matte black and see how we go with that. In the cab, you might be able to see it from here. As I say, I messed it all up by not making a video. Yeah, you can just see on the floor, on the roof of the cab there, I've got a 3mm LED, which the wiring comes out at the bottom here, and that will light the cab up so that when it's attached to the electrics, that will work really quite well, and you'll be able to see inside the cab through the windows. The main headlight at the top there, you can see I've got an LED in there as well. That's a 3mm LED. The wire cable goes through the back, down and out through here. This wire comes out just behind the castle on the chassis, so it comes out about here. And what will happen then is that cable will run all the way along here. It will go along the firebox, and you'll never see it again. Then it'll disappear into the chassis that I've just shown you. It'll join to this one and then run into the tender, and I intend to put the batteries, switches and most of the wiring in the tender. And when I say most of the wiring, there's the headlight at the front, and as I've just said, the cab light, if you like. Then on the front of the chassis, it's easier to show you on the chassis. On the front of the chassis, just above the buffers, there are two lamps, and they look to be orange, so I'll put two orange lamps in there. That wiring will run back inside and then along, that's interesting, along underneath until it gets to the back of the chassis, and then out and into the tender, the same as the other one. Then there are lights at the back of the tender, and they will be red lights, and I've I'll keep this one out so that I can show you how I did how I intend to do them. And what I've done is I've got a 3mm LED lamp, which is basically one of these. Comes pre-wired. It's already got a resistor on it. Didn't cost much. It costs about £3 or £4, maybe £5 for a dozen on Amazon. This one I've bent over because it's going to go into the lights on the front of near the buffers, so it's going to bend over and then come straight down then under the chassis. But the routine is quite simple. All I've done is the back of the lamp, oh sorry, you can't see it, the back of the lamp, I've cut it out. I've pushed the lamp, the LED, through from the back and then temporarily super glued it at the back there. And then using Milliput, I've filled the back in so that you wouldn't know it was there. And as you can see, with the light on the top of on the front of the boiler there, on the smoke box, you can hardly see the wires. It just disappears on the inside. When that's painted, you won't know they're there. But in real life, you know, if you have a light on something, you've got to have a wire, an electric light on something, you have to have an electric wire to go to it. So there's no real need to hide the wires. The only problem is, of course, that they're not quite to scale. These will glue down all the way along here, get them all nice and neat and glued down, and you'll never notice them when it's all painted up. Other than that, I think that's about where I'm up to. There's a lot of painting to do on this now, and I've not even started the wheels yet. they'll take a bit of time, but there's a lot of painting to do. Probably 2 coats of primer on that to make it look right. Putting the boiler, just a quick one before I go, putting the boiler together, you can just see the seam on the top. Underneath, it went together and then sanded down perfectly. It was nice that, and you just can't feel or see the joint. Unfortunately, at the top, when it gets to this bit here, by the funnel, there's a gap that goes along there. So I filled it. You can't actually feel it either side. It took probably a couple of hours to sand and polish it to the stage where you can only just see the join, and when it's painted it'll just disappear completely. But these boilers were of course made from curved sheets of steel that were riveted together, so they wouldn't have a seam at the top like that. They wouldn't be safe. It takes a bit of work, but it's well worth getting rid of that seam. Other than that, I'm pretty much done on that. There's surprising amount of work for not very much obvious stuff. The next video that I make will be when this is painted, sat on the chassis. Put them both the right way around. In fact, just to show you what it's going to look like. It's quite a beast of a thing, isn't it? Sorry about the blur on the red chassis. My camera doesn't seem to like the colour red for some reason. It doesn't work with it very well at all. So that's what we're looking at, and next time it'll all be glued together, painted, glued together, and then we'll start on the wheels. Thanks very much for watching. It'd be great if you could like and subscribe. If you have any comments, good or bad, please leave them in the box below, and I'll see you next time. Ta-da!